Hey guys, what is going on? So we have literally made very good progression on this. I think right now we're actually in a very important area. So we're on Thursday market breakdown and we're currently looking at the DXY. So having a look at the DXY, we came into this very valuable area. As we can see in the daily time frame, it was just an inflection area, but it had context behind it. Now, drawing on this line isn't really the easiest because there's so many different points you can go by, so I wouldn't waste my time with that. I would just look more so at this prime area here. The interesting thing about this is we pushed down, but we retraced all the way back up. Now, if we get a bullish retrace candle over here and it closes on the daily, we're going to be in for some very good bullish momentum, which is going to mean that pairs like gold and Euro USD are going to sell off fairly well. Looking at USD as a wholesome pair, we can just see from this inflection area here, what happened was we just dropped off, we tapped into it, but we fully retraced, which is really nice. And we did pull up very aggressively and pull back down. Within it, we can actually see there was a fairly good entry in there as well on the DXY, where we did kind of just start pushing up. Over here it's not so clear, but we had this sort of area here where price just pulled up and pulled back down. This was to FOMC news, which came out yesterday at around about 7:30, sorry. It came out and then just basically just caused the markets to just skyrocket, which is exactly what we were looking for. We were looking for some sort of volatility to come into the market for this to begin. So don't worry, sometimes things like this happen, but they happen for good reason. It's weird how, or I would say it's quite usual to see news tie in with structure and to see movement like this occasionally from time to time. Always be aware that news does create more volatility, so don't trade off the basis of just news alone. Obviously look for whatever else confluences you have. So as we can see over here, we did have this bit of price over here, which was the ending structure. And what was nice is that we kind of broke through it and we pulled back in. So this is actually quite a nice little push back up, retest, and then just gone sort of situation. But I think now looking at it, we actually have more than enough for this to go. This is looking somewhat like a running channel as well to the upside. So keep an eye on this for sure, because when you catch into some lows like this, it more than likely it doesn't come back down to these lows, but it can do, of course. So moving on to the next one, obviously before we do that, actually let's just quickly look at where we could be positioning ourselves in terms of where the market could be going. So ideally you want to be positioned somewhere around about here for protection, but understand that the market can come down and go back up. This is the best protected area, so stops below here are definitely on the table. But for entries, a stop below here right now for an entry there, very strategic play, but you're playing the zone more than the structure at this point, which I think is something that is very interesting. We have this little bit of price here where price can gravitate here and then just create a floor and go. Moving over to the 4-hour and the daily, we can see that, we are looking at price to come up here. So once price does really start to significantly move, we can then look for some sort of, structures to get there. Will it be easy? I don't know, to be honest. Could this be a very aggressive move? Absolutely. This could be somewhat of a very aggressive move because overall this has been somewhat corrective. We now have more than enough. Let the bulls come into the market and really take this to go. So that's what I'm waiting for. Moving on to JP225, just for just keeping an update with it. I know I haven't covered it this week. I was more so waiting for this. I didn't really want people to FOMO and just see this come into the 1, 2, 3 and go. But now it's looking more than enough. So what we're seeing here now is that we had the 1, 2, 3, we had the squeeze, we had the mini override at the top over here, and now we've pushed away. If we do kind of just create some sort of flags in this area, which it looks like we're forming right now, this is absolutely fine, to be honest, because we've cleared this low. If we create something over here, that could be enough for us to start moving to the downside, and then we'll see that on related pairs. So keep an eye on this, but for sure, obviously you're looking too into it. You want to be looking somewhere around about here. If we do get, a solid push and it's down here, we get flagged. More than likely, this could just drop off and then create a hover over here, inside or outside. And then we could see it as a continuation to the bottom of this. And then we can zoom out to the larger time frame and actually see if we do start playing to these sides. So keep an eye on that for sure. I think JP225 is going to be mega, and it's definitely one you want to be positioning yourself correctly on. Euro USD now. Euro USD was looking very nice. So we can see that we had this inflection area over here. We did have that small liquidity area which we filled in, and then we kind of just rejected. At that point when we came up there, it was very much looking like a sell-off. We had FOMC around the corner as well with a few other news, and then what happened was we kind of pushed down and we created this little flag. Stupidly enough, myself, I took this flag and I had it right over here, and this was my entry. And when price dropped around about 6% for myself, roughly around about here, I kind of put my management and locked in around about just roughly around about here. And I was a bit annoyed because it tagged them out. I knew I should have been a little bit less aggressive, but then I guess the thing was I was running 6%, and I was like, I'm going to hold the break even because of the positioning, and I'm happy to see it. Didn't expect it to come all the way back up here and take out all of that percentage. So I had more than enough opportunity to correctly look after myself in that position. It was just unfortunate, actually. So, you know what? It is what it is. These things happen. I actually believe that, sometimes these things happen for a reason, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so that was basically the position there, and then we came up, and now we're trading in this very interesting area. Because of how we're looking at the DXY, this could be now enough to actually see this drop off. This structure isn't really the best for the short, I'm looking for them, nothing that massive, but it can play out. Obviously where we are, I don't know, man, it's one of those ones where it really does bother me, and obviously keep on evolving this, does price come back up, do we get something? It's just so many different things that can happen now. It's just one of those where I'm going to wait. I'm absolutely going to wait. So there was the trade in here, which was looking like an expanding to break to the low. And then this was just looking as its own little separate bit of price. And then we were having something over here. But then, anyway, we're now looking at it on the bigger time frame. If the DXY is about to go strongly bullish, we might see this sell off quite hard. So I'm going to be patient with this and just wait and see it through. GBP USD, somewhat very similar. Very, very, very similar to Euro USD. If we see that selling off, we're going to obviously see this one move off quite aggressively as well. We did have a very nice move away. There wasn't a clear entry at the top here for me, so that's hence the reason I never took a trade on that. But we got the same similar price action here where price kind of just pulled back up, kind of just did all this nonsense, and we have this little bit of price over here that I think it's just too messy right now to be trading in this area. I wouldn't want to really be trading in this area personally. I think it just it's just messing with you, to be honest. So I would wait for a little bit more. I would say a little bit higher time frames. And yeah, essentially, if this does shape up and you get something like that, still, I wouldn't really be inclined. I think I would wait for the drop off now. Wait for it to really sort of push through, and yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones which can easily go missed, but we are trading so close. Call this a hover, and this can just break through, create a flag, and go, but then this just becomes very corrective. So I would want to see a clear push away, maybe something equal to this over here. Would be quite interesting to see. I'll have to wait and see for this one. EuroCAD, I think EuroCAD could be ready right now as well. The only negative confluences is we're just kind of creating this sort of bull sort of flag sort of situation over here. Don't want to get caught into some bad price action. It easily is going to be moving back down because we kind of tapped into this, and we could be creating candlestick confirmation for the final. It looks very much similar to this price action when I was analyzing it. Just take this over here and let's just squeeze that in a little bit. I think I should do it, and we'll put that in there. And can you see the similarities here? It's quite interesting, isn't it, that we're seeing this sort of retest here. So for that reason alone, I'm just kind of being a little bit extra cautious right now, because it does look like this could be the area we sell off on. But more so, I want to see, and then we can see that price comes back down to these areas and then retraces quite aggressively. Let's have a wait and see it does look interesting though for a positioning in this area as well. We can see a similar movement with 3 other pairs. Unfortunately, we don't really have that sort of opportunity to take this sort of flag from something else. I can't really see anything like that. The closest thing I can see to this sort of structure was literally this bit of price here. Where was it? I think it was this little bit here that I was looking at. But being very honest, I just couldn't really make out something that could really work equal with it, so I just left it alone. And it was just more so like that, where we have something like this, and this was the area, but it wasn't, it just didn't really pop out to me. So anyway, at this point, just going to leave it, just going to wait. But EuroCAD is looking good. I think this is a cool place to be entering the market. If we do get that retrace candle, you could really consider it, considering that we have all of this accumulation into this area. Is this just becoming one large structure of its own? So messy, so, but it is, it's just a very interesting one right now to just be looking at. But hey ho, we're here. GJ, so as we said with JPY, we're just waiting for that confirmation. I think really and truly we just need that push down the flag. No point wasting our time waiting for this one if we're not going to get that confirmation. Right now we're just moving up and up and up. Apologies, that's basically it. I mean, we're just moving upwards. We're not really seeing any strong rejection at this point, which I think is a bit unfortunate. I just need to see a bit of drop and a flag. And that's basically where we're going to look for a solid confirmation. At this point, it's going bullish, entertaining a long, possibly not in my favor. I'm going to stay pro short on this one. If it does keep going, it keeps going. It is what it is. New Zealand US dollar. Not really got a trade in there. We came back, retested that area. It looks like we could possibly be selling off, but more than likely, we're just moving like this, and we could just continue moving like that, and then get to these areas and maybe sell off. But it's one of those ones where I just don't know right now. It's just so corrective. I don't want to waste attention on something that just possibly could not really be worth it. So I'll let that one slide for now. This still has room to move to the upside, given how the floor was created. We did have our forecast as such, where we were looking for this larger pattern. However, I wasn't really inclined to take it. There wasn't really any clear entries for me as well. I couldn't really see anything that wouldn't drill into the 5 at all on this one for me. But yeah, there was no entries here, so couldn't really go long on that. Aussie yen is just on that extension as well, same as GJ. Who knows? It's just going to keep pushing until we get that drop off. But honestly, we have to really respect these bull runs. When we're really looking for the shorts, it does this quite a lot. And now it's looking more so like we'll catch people out on the wrong side. So let's wait and see. And obviously, the one which I think was extremely interesting. So we see this larger structure here. We drill into the 4 hour, we can see that we're tapping into it. As we had the override here, I was very interested to see what sort of formations we could have. So as we were looking for the push up, push down and the flag. I was looking for the confirmation over here. And then over here we had on the 5, you can see a little bit more clear. So we had the high, and then we came back in to retest high. And that was something of an interesting price action there. And then we just sold off aggressively with the other US related pairs. But now we've just made that full retracing now, which is corrective. Very, very dangerous area to be sitting in my opinion. I would just wait patiently on this one, let it do its thing. Once the US related pairs sell off, we'll know what to do. And yeah, I think New Zealand CAD, not really a trade for me at the moment. This was a good bull flag though, right here, but who knows, this could just drop off aggressively, create something larger. It's not really giving me that good clear price action I'm looking for. If we do get some larger flags in this area for sure, it could be something to be entertaining, but more so it could take some time to develop. Who knows? I think it could take some time to develop this one for sure. UJ. Now, UJ, I'm still waiting for this, to be honest. I think UJ is a very, very interesting one, but at the moment, I want to see a clear breakaway flag, and then we go. At the moment, I'm not seeing it. I'm just seeing price being very corrective and messy. we are somewhat creating this larger sort of area now, this range, and I think for that, it's just not really giving me that entry I'm looking for. I will wait patiently for something like that, and if that does shape up, then I know how to position myself. But personally, I don't see any other trade worth taking on this, and even that is quite risky in my opinion right now. But it's still a good trade. That would be a good trade, but we are potentially gravitating to this high before we do that. I would stay sharp for this. It does look like, we are kind of arcing all the way back up to this area. And EA, no surprise, but we actually tapped into the low, and then now we've pushed away. We did have a nice little 1 hour retrace there. Did come with a bit of risk. We did kind of have maybe a 1, 2, 3 going into there, but I think right now what I'm going to wait for is price to clear this, create a flag, and then go to the upside. I just don't know if I want to be getting into this sort of choppy area where we could create something a little bit more, I don't know, in depth. So it's still looking pretty good. I don't think we are in a bad place for positioning. I think even if you took a position now, it comes with a lot of risk. Not worth it. The retrace candle was phenomenal though. I mean, 24 pips. Not bad, to be honest, but like I said, it's not really my type of trade there. And then you have, this was looking good. So we have this, and then with 15 we can see, even 15 we had it there. Not bad, to be honest. It's not bad. I mean, I don't think I want to take that trade on that low anyway, so for that reason I probably wouldn't touch it, but it's looking good. I'm still going to wait for maybe the push down. Maybe this flag is going to give it some big momentum. Push down, push back up, flag and we go. I just have to wait for this. It could just be a small drop off, but even so, I'm going to wait for the drop off, come back up, and then look for the entry, a little bit like EA. EA is a little bit ahead of EG, but that's basically what I'm going to look for. I think right now, prime watch, I think it's Euro USD. Euro USD is definitely the prime watch one, because we're looking at the DXY, and this looks like it could definitely be moving upwards now. If it really does get that momentum that we're looking for, and it really gets that strong push, Euro USD is going to start making its move down, and we're going to be positioned really, really well. So keep an eye on this one for sure. I think right now we're looking very good in quite a lot of pairs. JP225 is definitely one that you want to be giving attention to, but most of all the DXY. If the DXY shapes up, we're going to see some big movement across the board. So guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. I hope you found some value from this video as well. If you did have any questions or anything you'd like to know, please drop a comment below. Be more than happy to get back to you. Take it easy.